If somehow someone gets it down, though.
We are presently live on YouTube.
What's up, YouTube?
Oh, we got set up all late.
Forum?
We're not doing the Twitch thing tonight.
You guys could have done that one before I got here.
I was...
We just pulled... Fucking Andrew just pulled up, like...
Oh.
What, like 5 minutes before Connor showed up?
Like, oh, I thought you meant before you.
Before
like,
Connor.
I got here.
I'd been here. I've been here since, like, fucking 7:10.
Oh, why didn't you come inside when I first came inside, then?
Because I didn't want to fucking disturb Dutchy. I did when you came inside. I saw you. I thought I thought you were gonna see me in the truck, but you didn't.
I didn't realize, because, you know, that's not your car.
Right.
I was... Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. I guess I didn't say
anything. Is that
anything.
even your car? It doesn't have a Lyft logo on it.
If it had that, though, you'd have been like, oh, shit, it's Miguel.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we've got 2 minutes and 36 seconds because I just got Take On Me playing on the radio.
Okay. Well, fucking that's quick enough. We'll fucking log into Twitch, get the stream key.
I don't even know how to sign up on this fucking computer.
What? Oh, yes. You just take the stream key and punch it in.
You know, it's actually way easier. Just download the Twitch app now.
What?
They made a Twitch app.
Yeah, but... Oh, right, the desktop app. I thought you were talking about
what you should do on the regular computer, download the Streamlabs OBS, which is specifically made for gaming. And then it's just a different program that uses all the same shit.
But we're not gaming.
We're kind of gaming.
No, I mean, like, if it's specifically made for gaming, we're not broadcasting game footage.
Oh, what I mean is that, like, when I say that, it has, like, all the overlays already built into it. And like how I got my overlay.
Well, we don't really need overlays.
No, you're right. But all I'm saying is it's a different program that still uses OBS.
Oh, so you can be
and you can import
both.
the other shit. And you can run both at the same time.
Ah, yeah.
Nifty.
Although, would we want to stream both from the same computer?
Probably not.
I feel like that'd be bad. On the CPU and everything. Oh, excuse me.
We could just do Twitch, though. It's not a...
Yeah, we should absolutely
Not a
start
big
streaming
deal.
on Twitch already, motherfuckers.
Sorry, YouTube.
Why don't you do it, bitch?
What the fuck? What?
I mean, you could do it when you're here on Sunday.
Probably.
Yeah, at least just get the stream key and fucking set it up.
Yeah.
I say at least. That's literally all there is to do, actually. Yeah, do it and just start streaming other shows on Ubercrit.
Hella.
You mean the kind of... Wait, we're streaming the show on Ubercrit?
We should,
Yeah.
right?
Why not?
Because
Do they have a Chaotic Radio Twitch?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
No one uses that, so let's just use ours.
Nerds do.
The
Let him use his
jack
own.
of all noids.
There you go.
And plus, this isn't an Ubercrit thing. It's a kind of gaming
It's the
show.
same shit, motherfucker. All right. 30 seconds silence.
This is chaoticradio.com.
I'm Grizzly Guns Gamer, and you're listening to The Kinda Gaming Show. Ooh.
Welcome to the Kind of Gaming Show, live on chaoticradio.com.
Howdy.
You're tuned in for your weekly gaming, I guess. I don't fucking know. I'm here with my usual co-host, Connor and Miguel.
Yo.
Howdy.
You're so quiet over there.
I don't know. Turn me up.
You were just, I don't know, I felt like that was like the softest, like there's the most hardcore music in the background going on right now, and you're just like, howdy.
I did not have that little moan at the end of it like you just did.
I guess that's fair. That minus the moan.
Yeah.
And make quality content.
Yep.
All right, so we have a show this evening.
We do.
You can
We
call
do.
it that.
Yeah, we're counting down our top 10. There's only 3 of us, so I added 5 more.
I was like, the fuck? This is a big list.
Top 10 shooters.
I'm watching Overwatch League right now on the station's computer, and it's really fucking intense with the goddamn Doom song. Especially because we're watching Tracer play right now.
Doom makes everything cooler.
So we're doing that. We have Connor's Switch games. He's going to talk about. I think how many are you talking about?
I got like 3, 4. Yeah.
You've been given a lot lately.
Yeah, but I've also had school. So.
Yeah. I will say there's one in particular that we can't talk specifics about because embargo.
Well, the newer ones I haven't played yet. So.
Exactly, but I will say one of the codes you were given.
You got a game big enough for an embargo?
2 of them.
Well, like literally, like every game has an embargo.
No,
that's to
out of those 8 games, only those 2 do.
Because even like little games have had it though in the past.
Yeah, sometimes
gotta be like high profile at least.
But anyway, this game, I'm gonna pull up a trailer. Sorry, Overwatch League.
That's all good.
And just so it fits right into my like niche now. It's a FMV game.
Oh boy.
It's called The Bunker. And it oh man. I'm so excited. But it's like a horror style game that's being put onto the Switch.
Apparently, at some point, it didn't fully download, so it's downloading right now on my Switch.
Oh.
You have your Switch with you right now?
Yes.
Yes, he does. Apparently.
Yes, I do.
But yeah, this one.
I brought it with me specifically so that I can actually know the names of what I'm talking about.
So yeah, this game stars Adam Brown from the Hobbit trilogy, Sarah Green from Assassin's Creed, and Penny Dreadful. The story's written by the people behind The Witcher 3. Mm-hmm. And Soma.
Wait, the people behind it's a novel series. Are the games not do they not follow the novels?
They do, but the guy got kind of screwed over with it. Well, he screwed himself over with it. So the thing is, the guy wrote the novels of The Witcher 3, or The Witcher series.
Yeah.
And then they were like, hey, we want to make a video game out of this. And he was like, video games are fucking stupid, but all right, give me some money. And then like he went with like a flat rate, and it was like really low. I can't remember what it is. And then now it's like this huge thing, and he's all pissed about it because they already have like the rights like straight up.
That's fucking funny.
Yeah, he's kind of an asshole too, apparently, about it.
Yeah, game has a lot of talent behind it. This particular game and studio have won a lot of awards, so I'm really excited for you as someone who's been more into FMV stuff. What happened?
Go back to the Overwatch, please.
Oh goodness!
But yeah, the games themselves, they do have different writings though, because there's they did it.
Sorry.
Dallas Fuel has
tied up the series.
Nice.
Yes.
They're going to a 5th game with fucking NYXL. That's insane, dude.
Neat. Wait, okay, so what does that do for the Gladiators if they win?
If the Fuel win, it kind of potentially opens up another spot for contention, because right now it's like New York has first place kind of on lock. Nobody expects them to lose to Dallas, but if they do, they have so many. Well, no, because they're going to score at least 3 points. They would have to get like fucking destroyed in their next game to really make the first spot contendable.
Someone quick post that GIF of the giraffe. Demoralizes people. the fucking giraffe sucking on a pipe.
Yeah, Jesus Christ!
They're like, hey, this is you.
Well, we'll take a small segment later on in the show, and I'll pull the standings up and go over what has to happen for the Gladiators to make the playoffs.
All right.
Some fucking statistical analysis over here.
Yeah, we were talking about it last night, and we were going over that because he was saying that they can't win anymore, and that's who I like is the Gladiators. And then I was like, hey man, they still could win. Australia got the gold in men's speed skating, and by complete accident. And then
for elaboration, the Australian speed skater was in last place by a huge fucking margin, and everyone wiped out in front of him. So he swept gold at the fucking Winter Olympics. Yeah, twice in the semifinals and the finals.
He did it. Yeah, he qualified for the final because that happened. He was like half a lap behind everyone, and they all wrecked. So he got into the finals. And then on the last turn of the last lap, they fucking all wrecked, and he got in there and got first.
All right. So, what are your fucking games this week?
Are you talking about my Switch games?
Yeah.
Okay,
the ones that you have to cover.
Now, the ones I have played are Danmaku Unlimited 3.
Isn't that the $40 one?
No, I'm pretty sure that was World Neverland, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, okay. That one's the $40 one.
So, Danmaku Unlimited 3. this game, it's a straight up bullet hell. That's really all I have to say about it. It's like it didn't do anything wrong, but it doesn't do anything exciting. It's a bullet hell. If you like bullet hells, you'll like this one. And it had some good, not annoying sounding music. It was just kind of generic electronic music though. Not bad. I mean,
how does I haven't seen a bullet hell on Switch.
Yeah.
Does it translate well? Like, does it play well on the pad?
Well, you just use the thumbstick to move around, and then you just hold like a trigger or a button to shoot. And then there's like some button combinations you can do. You can either have all your stuff lock forward, and it kind of tracks the enemy in front. Like if you're on a boss, you just hold that, and it's like, oh, I've got a fat laser that just hones in on the boss. And I mean, it works. The only thing is, because I'm so used to playing bullet hells on PC, and usually the screen goes into a portrait mode instead of landscape when you're playing on computer. So playing on landscape, I mean, this would just be a problem for any console version of a bullet hell, but it gets a little cramped when you're playing in landscape mode, and there's no way to change it. So I wouldn't expect there to be, but either way, it gets kind of like, oh shit, there's like too much stuff on screen.
Is there like a forced story mode in this? Because sometimes you'll play these and they'll try to add something.
No, it's just shoot things.
Is it better for that though? Do you think? Like it knows what it is. And it's just like you're either going to enjoy this or you're not.
Yeah, I think so, because that would just slow down the action. I feel like if you're playing a bullet hell, unless it's like Toho has a story, but even then they don't elaborate in the game itself. That's like all manga series and stuff that's on the side if you want story about the characters. But in the game itself, it's just sort of like, here we go.
I feel you. So this one's Denmaku. Oh, what happened?
Don't have him play the what price would you buy this game at?
Oh, there we go.
Oh yeah. I'd say I particularly like bullet hells. I would say $10 and cheaper.
Yeah,
spot on. It's $10.
$9.99.
There you go. Yeah, I'd say it's fine. It's quality. It didn't have any like major glitches or anything like that. It's pretty good.
And it has this like arcade style frame going on.
Yeah.
When you play
I actually really like that. In my head, I don't know if that works for the Switch screen because it's smaller, but I really like the way it looks.
Well, I like that because like my complaint about it being landscape mode already, that like helps it a little bit, because if it was even wider in a bullet hell, it just gets like too much because you want to prepare yourself for what's coming down. You don't want to like be all sidetracked from what's on the sides, and it gets kind of cluttered if you're in a bullet hell. Whereas at least they brought it in a bit, about as much as I think you could do it and still be comfortable.
It looks like the proper ratio. This looks like it's on an arcade cabinet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's because the vehicles themselves are pretty large.
That's true.
And it felt like I was zoomed in a little too much. But then it's like, at what point does it start getting too small on screen? So
no, yeah, I think you're right. I think it's that the player ship is very huge, very big for a bullet hell.
I mean, it doesn't really matter how big it is as long as you can, like, as you're seeing the bullet hell, like, as long as the dot in the middle.
Yeah, the dot is always... Oh, that was one thing that did come up to me a little bit, is the dot likes to hide in this game.
That could be an issue.
It gets a little bit, like, because the movement of the ship, like, there's a lot of movement and animation on it, and then there's a lot of bright lights because they're big, shiny, blasts and stuff. There were a few moments where I had to, like, kind of, like, do the whole, lean back and, like, blink my eyes a couple times, like, okay, let's refocus on the game for a second.
I could see that.
So... That was a little bit of an issue. I got over that, though, and just kept playing. So, I mean, it's a bullet hell. It did its job. So if you like bullet hells, if you don't like bullet hells, don't buy this game.
All right, and I don't think I've asked you to do this before, but if you're comfortable, you can. Can you give this either a grade or a score of something?
A grade? Well, I'll just say, like, I always just say, there's get it. You can't really try it. I would say pass or go.
Like if it was a physical, you rent it?
Yeah, like if you could somehow, like if your buddy had it, go ahead and play it like that.
Could you not GameFly it? Is this only digital?
No, digital only.
Oh, digital only.
Yeah, digital only.
If it was a physical game for $10,
that's something I think that game actually. That you make me think about. That's something that like Steam and stuff should start doing. Is like
renting
like
games?
a demo.
I feel like that would lose them money.
Well, I mean,
after a certain point.
Well, they have
anyway.
the refund after 2 hours. What they should do is just like give you 2 hours and then say, "Do you like this?" And then if it's like, "Yeah, I want to keep playing," you just buy it.
And if not, fuck that and never show it on my shit again.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool because I mean, like renting used to be a thing all the time,
Yeah,
but now
I like
that we're
that
getting
idea.
this digital world, why not just let you play 2 hours?
I feel you.
Yeah.
All right. So what is next?
The next one is Neon Wall, and this one was interesting. It's a little ball, and it changes colors depending on which buttons you press, and it only advances if the color matches what the track is. And this one, it got kind of weird because
Oh, it's one word.
what it does is it's like it looks like a shooter. Like you have these two guns, and you don't need to aim. That's just unnecessary stuff that they had on screen. I have to say this one is just a little too confusing for its own good because what ends up happening is I think in a game like this you would want to say have blue mapped to X and green mapped to Y and red to B and like the colors onto buttons. But what happens is the color that you're going to have in your gun is the last color that it takes the place of. So like if you want to turn you want to turn the ball blue and that's in your right gun and the ball is currently red, your right gun now becomes red, the ball will become blue. And then you say your left hand is green. And so it's like you have to keep track of what is loaded in your gun and keep like firing it. But then there's points where it's like it just like switches it up on you and it starts getting a little weird. It's like you can get used to it, but it just didn't feel right. Like it never felt comfortable playing it.
I will say that just from the look of this looks like a VR game.
Yeah, it seems like that. Like if it's a port of a VR game, that would make more sense because like you're aiming with VR. It's just it gets
Wiimotes.
Yeah, it just got a little clunky, and there'd be points where it was like, oh fuck, because sometimes you're doing a pattern and then you'll like tab off and you're like, oh, that's my blue gun. Like in Portal, you have orange and blue, and it's like no matter what, if you hit right mouse, you're gonna throw one color, and if you hit left mouse, it's in the other color, and it just messes with you. Like you're going in these fast-paced puzzles, and you're like, oh shit, wait, that was the wrong one, and then you die, and then you have to restart.
I will say that like maybe it's just in comparison to the other one, this one just feels and looks like a time waster.
This looks like something you use to practice your reflexes.
Yeah, that I did feel with it. It's like if you wanted to like really get your like eye and concentration, because like I said, it mixes you up.
It looks like a Osu. You know that?
No, I'm not familiar with that.
Oh, it's an aim training game.
Well, that's where this next one comes into play, actually. Like if I guess on Neon Wall, I would personally pass on it. I mean, if it's $5, you might want to give it a shot.
Is that how much you would pay for it?
$5, yeah.
Yeah, it's also 10.
Yeah, so that's too much, in my opinion, for Neon Wall.
It does say that that there's 30 levels, right?
Yeah.
But they're adding more levels.
Yeah, 30 levels. That's incredibly short because I didn't play all 30 levels. I played through about 16 of them. I would say it was right around there, and some of the levels you get finished through in like fucking 10, 20 seconds.
Well, what I'll ask is obviously this says there's 3 game modes: runner, puzzle, and time trial. Runner and time trial are pretty obvious. They sound like the same thing. What is the puzzle mode?
Puzzle mode is I can't remember right now. Actually, I'm drawing a blank on it.
That's fine.
But yeah, I mean it was a game. I played it and I was like, oh, okay. Well, I got the idea of this one.
It didn't grab you.
Yeah, and it felt a little frustrating at points.
This almost seems like the way it's maybe obviously it's probably intentional the way, but it seems like this would be a developer's like first game.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it ran.
It's very simple.
So I mean, it ran okay, and like the models and everything looked okay, and it didn't like rub me as being broken or wrong. There wasn't like anything inherently wrong about it. It just wasn't that great.
That's fair.
So, yeah.
All right. So the next one is the one I've been most.
There's another one in between those. Spiral Splatter.
Oh, I fucking forgot about.
So Spiral Splatter. This game, I mean, it's self-explanatory. It's like those brain teaser puzzles like that you see at the fair where it's like don't touch the edges. and you run it as fast as you can through the maze. And if you hit the edges, then you have to start over. One really weird concept in it is that there's checkpoints, but the checkpoints don't save the time that you ran through the checkpoint. They just count as a checkpoint. So you're running through the maze, and then you hit the checkpoint, and then you hit a wall, and then you'll go back to the checkpoint, but your time doesn't go back to where it was on the checkpoint. So you're just like, oh, I might as well restart the level because I want, 3 stars on it. So why would I why would I even use this checkpoint if it doesn't give me the time?
I feel like that's for people who don't want to aim for
Perfectionist.
record times.
Well,
and
that's the
shit.
thing is you have to have a certain amount of stars to advance.
Right. But it's for people who are just like, I'm okay with getting by with the bare minimum. I just want to finish this.
Well, you can't play the game if you don't get enough stars.
No, I understand.
And
Yeah, but you don't have to get 3 on all of them. You can get 2 on some of them.
Yeah,
or
but
whatever.
you can get 0.
Right.
And then the next chapter won't open, and then it starts. It gets really frustrating because it does that on quite a few levels, and it's like, okay, even if you don't need 3 stars, the way this game does it is it's like, all right, say you have a minute to do this puzzle, and you do it in a minute, you'll get 3 stars, and it's like it takes a whole minute for like that 3rd star to deplete. You'll get the 3rd star if you do it with up to that minute, and then it'll be like 5 seconds, and then the 2nd star depletes, and then another 5 seconds, and the 3rd star depletes. So it's almost like you have to be at 3-star capacity to get through it.
Oh, your health persists between levels as well.
And but I mean, it's not a bad game. I mean, it's really self-explanatory. If it looks interesting to you, I would say I'd give this thing like a $10 rating. But I really say that the devs should do this because it would be very helpful. They should allow you to change the stick to the right thumbstick, because you can only control it to the left thumbstick. And the reason why I'm saying that is like this would be really good training for first-person shooters, because you'd be getting your like hand-eye coordination down with a thumbstick. And like myself personally, I'm like good on mouse and like standard controllers, but the Switch, it has like a little thumbstick, so it kind of gets funny in the angle. But if I was able to sit there and like really just jam out with it on like this game, it would totally help aiming, and I think people would end up using it just as like a trainer.
Sure. I take it back. This one looks more like a time waster.
Yeah,
like
this is definitely a time waster.
Not to say that that's like.
But that's why I'm saying.
I'm
it
not
would make
saying
a
that's
good,
a bad thing.
Yeah.
But it's. By the way, so what you said? What would you say you paid for this one?
For what it was, it's like $10.
Yeah, it's 5.
Okay, so that's even better. Yeah, like if they make it so that you can use the right thumbstick, I would like recommend this to people just as a brain trainer for shooters.
It looks like the checkpoints actually serve as like a practice point, where it's like, if you can't get past this part, get to this checkpoint.
Yeah, I
just
guess
run it
so.
until you can do it.
It's kind of like that. I mean, but like I said, it's annoying too that it doesn't like save your time. Like, because usually checkpoints are like, there's your time, and then or like something around those lines.
Yeah, but I think they want you to actually learn how to do it.
Yeah,
They're like, master this shit.
but yeah, you can do it at normal pace, or you can hold down, I think it's R, and it speeds it up.
In my head, I really want this to be a touch screen game. I feel like even using the stick is probably a little awkward.
I think that's the challenge of it, though, because if it was
Yeah.
touchscreen, you just, this is how I do it with my hand.
Yeah, touchscreen, it seems a little too easy.
That's fair.
So now this one, the next one, I haven't played it yet.
Oh man,
The one that you're really looking at. But something really irks me about it, and I've already got a bad taste in my mouth before I even play it.
That's not a good thing.
So it's $40.
Right.
It's free on mobile.
Okay.
I mean, Adult Swim does that shit all the time.
But $40. And like when the quality of this game does not look like they should just jammed it up like that. And from like it looks, it's like the same game. I don't know. Like I said, it's just got a bad taste in my mouth. I'm not judging it yet, but that just seems whack. That it's like, hey, this game was free, but we're charging $40 for it, and it's just sort of, this is weird to me.
All right. Well, I guess we'll get your actual opinions.
Actual played opinion.
next time.
I would say try to suspend that that little tidbit about it, though, while you play. Judge it how it is. Try to imagine what you would factually pay for it.
Well, even from looking at the like the gameplay itself and everything, it looks like a game I would not say is $40.
Yeah, I'm saying ignore the price for now. Evaluate it.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm playing a game, I actually try very hard not to even consider price
I
when I'm
usually do
reviewing
that.
it.
Yeah, I usually do that, but like
Unless it's just so
I always
egregiously dumb.
have an idea though, like how like you always ask me what would you pay for this, and then it's like here's the price that it costs, and it's like that always comes to my mind when we're talking about things.
Sure.
And it was like right off the bat, like okay, even though I know this one's 40, it's still like when I first saw it, it looks like it would be maybe a $10 game. So it's an interesting one. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Could be the greatest game ever. Could be the next Necopara. No.
Oh, goodness. We'll have to get the Necoparo dev on here.
Yeah, right.
It'll be great. And then you could do that interview and you guys' pants could both be off. It'll be fantastic.
The Necopara dev's a girl.
Oh, now
Makes it even better. No.
I wasn't going to say that. You heard me, Cass. I didn't say
you
it.
tried to make it awkward, but you didn't.
No, he wasn't saying it was awkward. He was saying
he's
just saying two dudes could jam out about something they love.
With their pants off.
Yeah, so what?
Yeah.
What's awkward about that?
Nothing awkward about that.
Well,
Miguel, whenever band practice happens, Miguel and I usually have our pants off.
Yeah.
oh.
Like, how do you think
just doing
good
something we
bass
love.
comes from?
Gotta let the funk flow, you know?
The funk, huh? Is
Yeah.
that a code word for something?
It's the funk.
It's literally the funk.
The funk.
Like, you ever smelled balls?
I thought the funk was a little animal with like a bunch of tits on it.
What are you talking
That was
about?
an old
That's a
Greg-
platypus.
That's an old Greg bit.
Oh,
The funk is like he's talking about it. And it's a big ball of tits,
Jesus Christ.
and you milk the funk, and when you drink the funk's milk, it gives you the power of the funk.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
That's a thing?
the funk went missing in 1979.
This
Damn.
is this going to turn into creepypasta?
This is just old Greg.
It's old Greg.
It's old Greg.
All right, so I'm pretty. So
I realize now that I forgot to put 3 other shooters on here, and I'm like, oh shit.
So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start counting down our top 10, and Connor is gonna be really good about playing music for all 30 of the games.
Oh geez.
Hey, there's going to be some overlap.
That's probably fair.
Let's say
So
25.
one of the things that we kind of agreed on when we talked about this was that if the game is good, but the combat or like the main actual gameplay of it is shooting, then it counts.
Oh, because I did it in the method of if it's a good shooter, I was gonna say I didn't include Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption, even though those are shooters with cover systems and all that shit and tons of guns. I didn't count them because they have like aim assists, like lock on auto aim, and the gunplay itself is not like a main focus of the game.
See, yeah. So, for example, I'm not going to say where it's on my list, but a spoiler for mine is that BioShock is on my list.
Well, see, BioShock,
And that's like, and Miguel said the game is good, but the actual shooting in it isn't fantastic.
yeah. Well, BioShock, I would say like at least it's mechanically a shooter.
That's fair.
And you are controlling that aspect. Whereas, like I said, in like Grand Theft Auto, I wanted to put Red Dead Redemption because I love that game, but I was like, in my own mind, I just couldn't do it because it's like it's auto aim, and it's like the game doesn't advance by being a shooter. It advances by just completing the mission,
Yeah.
and it's like shooting is really like the auto aim just kills it. Like you're not playing a shooter if
Sure.
it has auto aim.
So there may be a game or two on my list that you guys may argue is a shooter or not, but we'll cross those bridges when we get there. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna list off my honorable mentions just like rapid fire because I have about 10 of them.
Okay.
So real quick, Fortnite, Turok 2, Seeds of Evil, House of the Dead, which is a light gun game. I don't know if that entirely counts,
Sure. Fuck it.
That's what you do. You shoot in the game. That's
but
all
yeah,
you do.
exactly. Wanted,
If the
video
main
game.
premise of the game is shooting,
Okay, cool.
Duck Hunter's a shooter.
Damn it, that's not on my list. Wanted, Left 4 Dead, Bullet Witch, Call of Juarez, Gunslinger, Uncharted 2, Gears of War 2, Resistance: Fall of Man, and Borderlands. Those are all on my honorable mentions. Some really fucking heavy hitters there. Like, I feel like I won't say most, but like if a big, IGN or something was doing a top 10 shooters, I feel like Left 4 Dead, Gears, or Uncharted would probably be on that list. So those are my honorable mentions. And do you guys have any honorables?
Honorable mentions.
Duck Hunter.
You mean Duck Hunt?
Duck Hunt. My bad.
I would say.
You're like, no, Duck Hunter. It's the indie sequel that you've never heard of.
I would say Duke Nukem. Just I Duke Nukem 3D.
The whole series,
I'll just throw it in there. Even
forever.
We'll even throw in Forever because there's boobies in it.
That game's not bad. It's just not good.
It's really short. Is like a big problem with it. Like
the hype was so
no, it's
big
not,
on
it's
that.
not even like that's a game that's not even the hype was too big because it's incredibly short and for a first person shooter you spend like half that time just walking around like diddling with toys.
Like I feel like that game is just adequate and it just being okay, and that was a huge disappointment to everybody.
Yeah.
And they think it's really garbage tier when it's not.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty whack, but I mean like at least the multiplayer I thought was decently fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
And then so it's like, but yeah, I honestly it's like 3 hours, 4 hours, something like that. I know like a good chunk of it, it's literally just interacting with the environment and not doing shooting.
But in any case, what are your other ones?
Another one is the Borderlands series, particularly 2. I played 1 a lot, but 1 was a little tedious and as a game. 2 though is very fun. I just didn't include it because I personally haven't put a whole ton of hours in it. I have played it though, had my fun with it, and I think it's very good. And I'll just leave it at that for honorable mentions. I got a decent list. So
Miguel?
Insurgency.
Oh, that is a great one.
It's a really great shooter. It's like Battlefield in its mechanics and everything. Yeah, it's very tactical, but even more so because there's like no radar or anything. There's virtually no HUD in the game, and it's just like
it's hardcore. Like they don't even tell you how much ammo's in your gun. You have to keep track of it.
That's cool.
So it's a very hardcore tactical shooter. It's very fun.
You know how much ammo's in each gun because it tells you with your loadouts and everything. But yeah.
So is it like in the same terms of hardcore? Is it hardcore in the same way like Arma is hardcore?
I've never played Arma.
Oh yeah, well Arma is hardcore in the sense that it's a mil sim.
Okay.
And that's like literally all your movement is also in Arma.
What does it make you like reload by hand and shit?
Yeah, it's I mean it's you've seen me play DayZ before and how you have to load the magazines.
Yeah.
And fucking you have to do that in Arma.
Ah, okay.
So you have to actually load your magazines.
DayZ was an Arma mod. So.
Yeah, exactly. I guess another one that I'll say is a honorable mention is GoldenEye at 64. I didn't put it on the list just because it hasn't aged the best.
I didn't put it on the list because I think it's garbage.
I loved it when I was younger.
I didn't.
I'm gonna say same. GoldenEye is an honorable mention.
Yeah,
like,
I played the hell out of it.
It's the true like
it's
turning point in shooters.
I would say it's the console
to
turning point.
To me, GoldenEye is not even the best first-person shooter on the N64.
Turok.
Yeah, Turok 2, Seeds of Evil is...
Turok was one I was... I was going to say it as an honorable mention, but I wanted to just keep it going. Turok's fucking rad, and it's an honorable mention for me.
If we were doing top 10 weapons, the Cerebral Bore from Turok 2 would be number 1.
That's funny.
It's the best weapon. It's amazing. Have you ever seen the Cerebral Bore, Miguel?
Nope.
You shoot it. It's like a special weapon. It only has one bullet. So you take it, you shoot it at somebody, it's auto-homing, and you hear it, and you hear a drill, and it starts drilling into their head, and then it explodes. It fucking literally just like, and they just know they're gonna die, and it's amazing. Especially when you're playing with friends, and someone gets hit with the Cerebral Bore that like starts blinking. It's fantastic.
Better than the Hammer of Dawn?
Yeah.
Damn.
Hammer of Dawn's cool.
Hammer of Dawn is so fucking cool.
Hammer of Dawn is rad. The BFG, though.
All right, anyway, so this is a longer list, and I'm kind of excited, actually.
I was telling you it was going to be no problem. I just fucking came up with my 10 right now. Like,
cool.
In 30 seconds.
Well, see, like it's easy to come up with 10.
It was placing them.
But I always want to like punch myself in the nuts if I forget something.
I know I'm not forgetting anything. Like these ones are the ones that stand out to me immediately. Oh, okay. So I know these are the motherfuckers.
Oh, man, for me, it is a pretty hard list. Like I'm still looking at it. I'm like, do I want to change anything?
Like I played a lot of others, and like so others occurred to me, and I was like, nah.
All right, so let's have Miguel start off then, since he's so fucking confident.
Well, you were right though. The order thing is weird because I'm looking at them, and I'm like, do I want to rank this by?
I can start.
Do I want to rank this by best
Connor's gonna
shooters
start.
or best games that are shooters?
I went with like shooters.
Best shooters.
And then like the game part was also in there. I mean,
It has some influence, right?
yeah, it has influence.
So it's kind of what makes them on
For
your
me,
list anyway.
it's probably the other way around. As someone who's not like as big of a shooter person as you two are,
Yeah.
the game has to be
The
better.
game is fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so kick things right off. It's actually a game I know Miguel isn't too fond of, but we're going with Killing Floor 2.
Okay.
Now,
I really like the first one. I haven't played the second one.
we'll see. Killing Floor 2 takes everything from the first one, cleans it up, and just like amps everything up to 11. The thing I really like about Killing Floor 2, when it comes to being a shooter, like holy fuck, they really put the mechanics down on being a clean shooter. And like they even went down to like properly animate every gun. So because there's a thing called Z time in it, which it slows down time, and rather than just slow down the animation, they actually animated it at 4 times the frame rate, so that when it's in slow motion, you see the clanking, you see the bolt carrying back and the ejection. And then this is a game also that when you say you get the commando perk, so when you're reloading, you have a faster reload. It doesn't just speed up the animation. It's an actual different animation, and they went through and mocapped professional like SEAL team members and whatnot, and got their reloads. And like they had amateurs doing it versus super pros, and that's animated in the game. It's all very detailed, very hardcore, and for me, it's very replayable. But I can see the disadvantage and why it's number 10 and not higher on the list.
Sure.
There's only 2 bosses.
Yep.
And it's a really big downer on it. But there's so many guns, so many perks, and it's a whole lot of fun. I definitely recommend that you give it a shot.
Really, what I feel like Killing Floor should be is they should just create the Horde mode for Gears of War.
Yeah, if they had a never ending, just fucking go for it.
No, like literally, let Epic go to the people who make Killing Floor, and they're just like, hey, make the Horde mode. Because imagine how good that would be.
Oh yeah.
So then you have all of that shit, and I don't know. Like, Killing Floor is fun, but, like, the only time I want to play Killing Floor is when they have, like, a free weekend on Steam. I'll play it for a day or two and be like, okay, I've had enough for the year.
Yeah, that's fair. It's definitely a game that I play in waves.
How many maps are there? 4?
No, there's more than that.
Oh, okay.
I think
We've only played 4. We happen to play a few of them a few times.
Officially, I think there's 16.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a fun game.
All right, so I guess I will go next. My number 10 is Overwatch.
Okay.
Game I've been really enjoying for the last little while. A game I'm enjoying more than I thought I would. But it's hard for me to rank it above others just because there's not a single player campaign, and that's something that's like really important to me. Like mechanically, obviously, it's really good because it's hit the level of esports that it has.
Right, and they dial it in all the time. So.
Exactly. It's really friendly for people who are new. Also, like, you can still have a good time even if you're horrible. And that's something that a lot of online shooters, I think, have trouble with. For example, like, I don't have fun playing Counter-Strike.
Same.
I just don't, right? But playing Overwatch, Counter-Strike's a good game.
No,
I'm not
yeah,
saying it's
I know.
bad.
I'm just saying it's like I love that game. It's just always funny because like we'll go ahead and we'll talk.
So here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say, okay? And I don't know how people are going to take this, but Overwatch to me is League of Legends as compared to Counter-Strike is Dota 2. Like it's just a game that's more easily accessible. And people understand it.
Yeah, because Dota is more hardcore.
Dota is more hardcore. Yeah. And if you lose in Dota, like, you make your entire team lose. And I feel like there's that same... Like, granted, Overwatch has that, but in Counter-Strike, it's a lot heavier, I feel.
I was going to say, I feel like Overwatch and Counter-Strike are too different for that metaphor, but when I think on it, no, they're really not that different. They're two games that have like very like robust mechanics, and you have to know them very well to do well at them.
Yeah.
Like Counter-Strike, you have to know the maps extremely well. You have to in Overwatch as well, but not on the Counter-Strike level, because on the Counter-Strike level, you have to be like peeking very specific walls and corners and shit at different angles. Meanwhile, in Overwatch, you have to know, okay, this part of the map is very good for this character in this situation and whatnot.
Oh, Overwatch, like, I just feel like Overwatch is a little bit more forgiving, and maybe
very much so.
And that's my thing. And on top of that, like, this is just a personal thing, but you know, if I'm continuing to compare it to Counter-Strike, like the cartoony graphics just make it more inviting.
You know, and something that's interesting about Overwatch is you can play it and not be mechanically great at aiming.
Right.
Whereas you cannot play Counter-Strike and be like sub-sufficient at aiming.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you have to be good at aiming to play Counter-Strike.
Counter-Strike's like 70% aim, 30% mechanics.
If
not
you're
mechanics,
not,
but
like positioning.
sense.
If you're not
stuff.
good at aiming, like I'm not great at it, but I'm starting to develop a game sense.
Yeah.
For Overwatch.
Right.
And like I can still be a decent contributor to my team playing like Reinhardt or something.
I mean, shit. There's characters in Overwatch that have auto aim. Basically, like Symmetra. It's like if you're within range,
you can vaguely
if you could just
someone.
It's like you're here, and as soon as you get on them, you're on them for like 20 feet. You know.
Exactly. I think just in conclusion, I think it's a really good game.
Yeah, it's very much so.
If it had a legitimate single player campaign, then it would probably be much higher. Or even if like it had an hour campaign for all the characters, like a fucking Mortal Kombat arcade mode where it gives you just a little bit of the story. We're like, okay, well, I'm gonna play as Winston now, and like I would die, but as of right now, I would just be dead. I'm putting it at my number 10. So Miguel,
I'm happy that it's on your list at all. You went the route with as a game, it's good. Not evaluating it as its shooter qualities. I'm gonna go the other way and evaluate games based on how good of shooters they are.
That's mostly what I did. Yeah.
And I'm gonna start with BioShock. I love BioShock. It's one of my favorite games of all time. It's not super robust as a shooter.
Yeah.
There are what, like 10 guns overall.
I will say that one of my favorite things, and maybe I should save this because like I said earlier, BioShock's on my list, but I love that just the normal gun is a fucking Magnum. Like the pistol, that's just a personal thing. Like
that's how Halo is too.
Revolvers are the best.
I think one thing that really speaks for BioShock's lack of shooting capability, like as a shooter, is that the starting shots of enemies are purposely made to miss. So and like that right there kind of says this is not about going in and being a shooter. This is about you just tearing ass.
Yeah, and like the gunplay is enhanced by the plasmids and the environmental stuff and everything, but the gunplay itself, like the shooting, is not very good. It's just that the game is good around it.
Yeah. That brings me to like a side honorable mention, just bring it back up because it makes me think about it. Is I wanted to put Mass Effect in here because I love those games, but it's like there was never a core moment where the shooting itself was good enough to say this is a great shooter.
Right.
It's like the first one is like terrible mechanics for shooting. The second one got better, and then the third one it was like this is really good, but then at the same time it was like it still wasn't like up there on being a shooter, but it's such a good game. So I didn't put it on this list because of that.
Right.
So I totally agree with BioShock, but I do really like that game. So
some of the best, like, I'll talk about it more when it's on.
Yeah.
When it's my turn.
Okay.
So, Conman, what's your number 9?
My number 9 is Counter-Strike.
Which one?
We'll go ahead and we'll go with Global Offensive.
Okay.
Because it's the newest. They're mechanically all very similar.
Right.
I have the most time in original 1.6, but it's a solid game. I mean, like you guys, I know you're not players of it, but if we're talking shooters, that's a fucking hardcore shooter. Like that's like when it comes down to being a shooter, I think oftentimes the gaming community, like that's one of the games that will just ping up in probably 9 out of 10 gamers' heads. It's like Counter-Strike is a shooter.
I mean, I owned Counter-Strike on the original Xbox.
I feel like Call of Duty has the popularity edge over it.
Same.
Oh, I would say that has definitely more of the casual market. we call it that. But like when if someone says hardcore shooter,
Adding the word hardcore.
yeah, if you say like what hardcore shooter, I feel like 9 times out of 10 Call of Duty.
I bet if you
CS:GO or Counter Strike in general would come up.
It's funny because I bet if you ask the casual gamer, like the people who buy Call of Duty, what's the hardcore shooter? They say Battlefield.
Yeah.
That's funny, yeah.
But
I mean, I'm not sure what else we can say about Counter Strike
because we just like had a
we had a little
decent
bit of,
conversation about
we
it.
had a little bit of hit about it. I mean, it's a game that I fell in love with instantly. I was I was in 5th grade, and I lived right next to a cyber arcade back when those were a thing.
Sure.
And I used to just go there all the time and just throw down and play. Like they would let me water the plants for hours and stuff like that, and I would just do like little handiwork around there, like basically working, and then get time.
That's cool.
And then they also had like deals that they would just, since I was a regular, they made it way cheap. And I was like, yeah, because back then making a gaming PC was like $2,000 plus, and they were out of date within a year. So, but nowadays, people can make gaming computers or just buy a laptop. So
Yeah, back then the games were outpacing the hardware.
yeah. And now it's like, oh, I bought my computer and the newest
It's
games
good for a
still run
couple years.
perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nowadays developers are keeping themselves within the bounds of hardware as well.
True, yeah, and especially because console is so big, and like after the PS2 era, because PS2 sold so much,
Right.
and it really opened up to like, hey, we really need to focus on making games proper for console.
Available, basically.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Or
and
accessible.
because back at those times, it was like, yeah, if you're a hardcore gamer, you play on PC, so why should we, spend all this time making for console?
Yep.
But now it's like, no, fucking consoles, the de facto like play. But it's starting to shift again because PCs are cheaper. So we'll see what happens.
All right. So my number 9, I can like guarantee is not going to be on either of your lists. I'd probably say, it's Gun on PS2.
Yeah, I never played it.
In my head, I keep wanting to say the original Western, like pre Red Dead Redemption Western.
It's not pre Red Dead Revolver, is it?
That's a good question. I know it's the same era. But anyway, Gun is just a really fun.
Wait, I think it is actually.
Red Dead Revolver was 2004, May 4th.
Yeah, and when's Gun from?
Engineers checking.
Checking right
Yeah,
now.
let
Keep
Connor do that.
going.
My phone's dying.
But yeah, Gun had a really good single player.
2005.
Okay.
Revolver was
just
first.
barely.
Yep.
Okay.
November 5th, 2005. So it was a good chunk.
Yeah, that's still just a year.
Well, I mean, from May to November. So.
I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
In any case, I had a really good single player mode. The story I really connected with. The first thing you do in the game is you kill a fucking bear. It's really fun. It's really the first game that I played around with that had I don't even know, McCree's ult. He could just do that. I don't know if that's just called bullet time.
Bullet time is when it slows down.
Yeah, it slows down, but then you just aim on somebody, and then it's just like dead. Just like how
Red Dead Revolver had that, actually.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
they called it the Deadeye.
Yep.
Okay. I think that's actually what it was called in Gun also.
It's also what McCree's ult is called.
It's called Deadeye, yeah. Deadeye's ready.
Yep.
Interesting. But yeah, it's really fun. It's a game that people look back on now because of Red Dead Redemption, and they don't remember it fondly because it's linear. It's very linear.
Uh-huh.
And it's not the most polished game, but it tells a very good redemption story. And God, is this the Gun soundtrack?
Yes.
I haven't heard this in so long. I'm like, this is so much better than I remember. I'm actually really into this.
Game music used to not be so recognized.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't as acclaimed, I guess.
Yeah.
Like everybody oh yeah, I remember that one. That's a classic, but it's not like they're like, oh, that's a brilliant composition.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's what I was
Except the
about
Japanese, I guess.
to say. Oh yeah. This music has hit me right now.
Fucking did Ennio Morricone? The fuck? How do you pronounce that dude's name?
Who are you talking about?
The guy that did basically the music for all the westerns. He did Clint Eastwood as not the stranger. What's his name again?
Oh, I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Fuck, I can't remember the movie's name I'm blanking out on it for some reason.
Yeah. You just said you haven't, but have you played Gun, Connor?
I have not. which is actually surprising because I love westerns and grew up with my dad watching westerns all the time, and it just sort of went with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always been interested in Gun. It's one that I probably should go back and play.
You can get it on the cheap.
Yeah, definitely.
So I would definitely say go back and play it. And that's my number 9. It's just really good.
Nice. All right, Miguel, what's your number?
I should have probably been thinking about the way I want to do the order still.
If you want, I could skip you for a second.
No, I
Go
can
right
do it. I
back.
can do it. I'm thinking I'm gonna go with The Last of Us as number 9, because once again, it's not insane game like gunplay. It's pretty good, but
Yeah.
like the
It's at least not
Finer.
auto aim.
right, the finer workings of the like the recoil and everything, the handling of the guns is not super robust.
Yeah,
It exists.
It's one I didn't include on my list solely because to me it doesn't have that huge gunness to it.
Right, all that stuff exists, but in very basic execution.
I think we have a good gradient here. Like I mostly went with mechanical. Miguel like is in the midpoint, and then you were just like, if it's a good game, it's there.
So if by your standard, should gun have been number 1? You said gunness. You can't get any more gunness than gun.
Who said gunness?
One of you two did. I heard gunness in my head. Gunness? I don't fucking. Never mind. Talk about The Last of Us.
Gunplay?
I said gunplay.
We've been using gunplay.
I heard gunness.
Gunpla?
I'm gonna go.
Maybe I said gunness. That sounds like something I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah, that does sound more you. But anyway, yeah, all proper aspects of gunplay are in The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Like, there's recoil. There's not spray patterns, but because the spray pattern is a very specific
There's
execution.
reloading mechanics.
There's spread. There we go. Yeah, there's different accuracies and range and whatnot, and damage fall off. But it's all very basic, and there aren't that many guns anyway. So it's pretty low on the list, even though it's like I've had so much fun on the multiplayer.
Out of curiosity, would The Last of Us place on like your top 5 games of all time?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite games, hands down.
It would definitely be in my top 10. So
Right.
Interesting.
But yeah, as far as gunplay goes, it's not phenomenal. It's very fun. It feels very good to play. But the play it, yeah, like I've said it a million times. So go ahead, Connor. Enough said.
So you're gonna hate me for this one.
Nah.
My number 8 is Left 4 Dead 2.
Okay, it's your list.
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
not gonna hate
But
anyone
I just
for-
know you hate Left 4 Dead. Like
You don't like Left 4 Dead?
It's really repetitive to me. I don't feel like, especially with this one, the gunplay is like. I'm surprised that you would put this on your list. Actually, when you're going hardcore towards gunplay.
Well, see, the thing about the gunplay in this is that it actually matters on where you hit body parts, like immensely. And
Right.
then there is a heavy amount of like actual movement to the guns. There's not insane recoil, but there definitely is like you have to be focused on it at times, especially with like the Magnum and whatnot.
Well, I guess this is only your number 8. It's very simple.
Yeah,
gun-wise.
it's
to me.
simple, but it's got a. I mean, especially Left 4 Dead 2, they had the freaking the dual wielding in mechanic,
Right.
and it also has a the thing that makes it really big on the gunplay for me is that you have to be wise with it because you have to ration out your ammo, whereas and it's like you have to choose whether or not you're going to use melee or use your gun.
Right.
And a thing that's making me a little bit biased on this one are the mods, because I know it's like normally you don't count that,
No.
but the
mods don't make a good game.
well, this game's good without it. Like I enjoy Left 4 Dead 2 completely without it, and I think because of how like it does require a lot of aiming on the higher difficulties, your aim has to be on spot, like to actually hit the weak points and to properly take out a witch and whatnot.
Sure.
But mods just brought this thing up even higher.
Yeah.
Like even the stupid ones, like turning everything into Hello Kitty, I think it's just funny. It makes the game very fun. So in that aspect, it makes the list just for being such a fun, approachable game.
Right.
I
So this
never-
is your exception.
Yes.
Basically.
Pretty much, because nothing else on here is very much exception. There's like maybe an asterisk next to one that's higher on the list, but then it's also, I think you'll agree with me when we get there, because we're getting really close. We only got about 2.5 minutes before break time.
Yeah.
So I can just talk about Left 4 Dead. The original one was on my honorable mentions.
Oh yeah.
It's one of those games that I know it's coming. I played it on console, so no mods.
Yeah.
But me and my buddies, we would just play sometimes. Like, hey, you in the mood for Left 4 Dead? Yeah, let's put it on the hardest difficulty and play on the helicarrier.
That's another thing about Left 4 Dead is that it does have the procedural maps. Like they're not as big as like robust as today's procedural stuff is, but it was still different enough at at different points.
Yeah,
and I put 2 because Left 4 Dead 2 has everything that Left 4 Dead 1 had, and then more.
Yeah,
it literally has the same maps and characters, and then more because they only came out a year apart from each other too. That was
it really only a year?
Yeah, it was only a year, and that was a big anger about it. They were like, "Oh yeah, we can't do DLC on it because the way the game was made." So they just made a second one. It's big poopy.
Oh, was there no DLC for the first one?
Because like the way they programmed it, they couldn't do it, and then they were like, "Shit, we fucked up. Here, make another one."
I think because of my lack of enjoyment of the games, they all just kind of muddle together. Oddly enough, I did play them quite a bit.
I really enjoy it. Like it's one of those games. Like if someone says, "Hey, I've got 2 other people. Let's play Left 4 Dead," and it's like, "Sure, fucking let's do it," and I'll end up playing it all day long with them.
Like even for not enjoying it, I probably still played like 40 hours across the series.
That's fun.
Well, it's not. I don't like even like you didn't say it's a bad game. You just don't get like immense joy out of it, right?
I don't like it. Like
oh, okay.
He has said in the past that like he thought it was bad. So
yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say it's bad.
Interesting.
I don't think Valve is very good at actually making games. Portal is amazing, but other than that,
I just started playing Half-Life 2, and
I
I
haven't
think
played
it's
Half-Life.
pretty good.
of all their games, I haven't played Half-Life now, and a lot of the older Counter-Strikes.
That's one that surprisingly skipped my mind, but so it's not on my list. But I love Half-Life 2.
Half-Life, yeah.
They're very good.
I'm surprised. Actually, I would have expected that to be on your list.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's one of those things because I made this list. I've had like homework out the ass, so this list was like has been peppered out. Like I said, there was 3 missing from the list when I came in the studio.
Well, Andrew also only gave us the notice yesterday.
That's true. So it was kind of like, oh fuck. I think I was going to sleep when you sent that.
Do you not like Team Fortress either?
No, I don't.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's another one that's again not on my list right now because of raisins. Maybe I'll push something out and put that there instead.
Yeah, over break.
Yeah. All right. We'll be back. You turned my mic off. You're not supposed to do that.
No, I didn't. I turned it down. I didn't turn it off.
Well, you're not supposed to touch it. I have the switch back here. That's like the whole point. No one's supposed to touch the engineer mic.
listening to chaoticradio.com.
If I were to say the Kinda Gaming Show, would that mean anything to you?
I am Mega Man, here's my mega plan, you die! Welcome back to the second hour of the Kinda Gaming Show. Still counting down our top 10 shooters.
Should have put a shooter music, but I didn't.
I mean, Mega
Man's a shooter.
Mega Man's a shooter.
all you do is run and shoot.
That's true.
Run, jump, and shoot.
We didn't say first person shooters.
We didn't say first or third person. We
Right.
said shooter.
True.
Connor's like, shit, I have to redo my whole list.
Oh, fuck. Animal Crossing.
What?
You have a slingshot.
That's not the same shit.
Fuck you. We said it counts.
No, it doesn't. The main gameplay of that is not shooting.
I know. It's a good portion of it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
What number were we on?
We
7 for
are
Connor, right?
on number 7.
No, number... I know I haven't talked about my number 8 yet.
I spoke
right,
about
right.
my 8.
Yeah, it was his 8. My bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's my 8.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number 8 is Medal of Honor, The Rising Sun.
Which one's that?
That one was on the PS2 era.
Okay.
PS2, GameCube, Xbox era.
Old one.
Yep.
Yeah,
To-
it's not The Rising Sun. It's just Rising Sun.
Okay, then.
All right. So, decent story player, but single player. But the main reason I like it, which is weird because I kind of knocked Overwatch on this, but the multiplayer was so fun. Like playing it with friends.
Well, because you were saying Overwatch had no story.
I guess
so
that's true.
right. It has a story. It doesn't have a story mode.
Yeah, the story's fine. I feel like not unless like the war games go really like sci-fi to me, they're not great most of the time unless they are like Spec Ops: The Line, which I now regret not putting on my list because I just thought of it.
Yeah, you can kick something out. I did.
Yeah. But anyway, it's
You're like, as a matter of fact, scratch Medal of Honor.
yeah. I'm almost considering it. It just it was my first time really getting into like what Medal of Honor does is something I kind of miss in games and shooters nowadays. Like especially like when you go to the Call of Duty or Battlefield, it just has like weapon or random drops all along the map, kind of like an arena shooter.
Oh, yeah.
But still has the gameplay, gunplay of a military shooter, which I really enjoy. And that particular era of guns, I just really like.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I really like those old school games because there's something that's nice about them being like more simple when it comes to being the shooters.
Yeah.
Like I personally don't care for the way Call of Duty went, where they started doing the wall running and double jumping and all that stuff. Like it's cool to a point, but then it just starts becoming like, okay, there's other games that like take this fantasy.
You just don't
element.
like playing as Genji all the time,
Yeah.
but with guns.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, there's games that do that. Like, I mean, Halo has a lot of vertical movement and jumping and, like, positioning. And it's like, Halo's more fun in that aspect. But now it's even diverted farther away from that. So, I don't know. It's a weird concept.
You know, hearing the gun soundtrack and how this soundtrack really makes me want to go back and actually listen to some of the old soundtracks.
From like, the PS2. Because a lot of people listen to, you know, like, the 16-bit era.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of that music really kicks in. And then, of course, the icons like Metal Gear Solid.
Like, this is a
Has always been
beautiful
there.
orchestra soundtrack right now.
It's pretty good.
Like,
It sounds like a Hollywood movie.
I was about to say, I'm getting Captain America vibes.
I was like,
Yeah, I was going to say it sounds very typical.
I was gonna say I'm getting Spielberg, Hans Zimmer type shit.
Yeah.
Not Hans Zimmer.
No, not quite Hans Zimmer, but
Like-
you know what I mean.
Not
Like,
even close to
poor man's Hans Zimmer.
What?
I feel like, so one thing I will say about this is the campaign isn't great, but it starts off like, have either one of you seen that movie, Saving Private Ryan?
Yep.
The game basically starts off in a very similar scenario where everything is just going to shit.
The game basically starts off in a very similar scenario. It's World War II.
Is it D-Day? Like D-Day was that was,
You're on a ship, right? And you wake up
and you storm the beaches of Normandy.
you bastards. Like alarms start going off, water's sinking in, and you're just rushing to the top to like as fast as you can to get on a turret to start like tearing down these other ships or the other airplanes, and your ship ends up going down. It's a really good start to the game that I feel like the rest doesn't really hold up to, but the multiplayer is fun enough, and the single player is okay enough to where it kind of carries it.
They probably did put a lot of emphasis on making that very first moment very memorable. They were probably like, you gotta make everyone shit their pants first thing in this game.
That's actually fucking John Romero's idea behind game making. Is the first level of Doom was the last one that they made because they're experienced in making maps and everything. So that way they're just like, okay, we know what worked, we know what's simple, and we know what can just like hook people in.
Yeah.
Bam.
What I will say is kind of cool about, so, you know, sometimes, like, obviously back then, there was no online multiplayer. So if you wanted to play with 16, and PS2, and this particular one I don't think had online multiplayer.
Oh, that game didn't. There was multiplayer for PS2 games.
Like, if you want, that's true. I remember playing MLB 07, the show online.
EverQuest was like one of the big ones that made
But,
a thing.
so there's like 16 people, 8 versus 8. And one of the things that was cool is that instead of just turning the difficulty like on hard or whatever, each different computer, they all had their names and they all had star ratings. So you're like, oh, well, if you really want to do this, you have to fight this dude. This guy is like the head of the Japanese army, and he will just destroy your shit. Anyway,
Nice.
I thought it was cool. What are you doing, Miguel?
I'm straightening out this cord.
He is breaking things.
All right, so what's your number 8, Miguel?
Hand me my phone, please.
He's on 7 now.
No, it's 8.
8. You start off, Connor.
You're 7.
That's right. That's right.
Let's see here. I remember. Oh shit, my battery's fucking draining itself. How is it not charging over there? My next game is probably gonna be Bulletstorm. That one was super fucking fun, and yeah, there was a bunch of cool guns, and they did cool shit. Like I forget what it was called, but the one that shoots the
chain
the
balls?
bolo, yeah.
Yeah, that was fucking rad.
And it's like, yeah, it could either just fucking chop people in half or wrap around them if they were big enough.
Also,
and, like just blow up.
Had my favorite line game ever, still to this day. Fuck my dick. No, fuck your dick.
No, that wasn't it.
Yeah,
I'll
something like
kill
that.
your dicks.
Is it kill your dick?
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill your dick.
I'm gonna kill your dicks. And he's like, the fuck does that even mean?
No,
You're gonna
he
kill our
yells it
dicks.
back.
Yeah, he goes, what the fuck does that even mean? You're gonna kill our dicks. I'll kill your dick.
Okay.
I remember that very well. And, I liked when the general is obviously a fuckhead and screws you over. And he's like, U-R-A-D. He's spelling out the password. Yeah, and he spells out dumb tit. And fucking Grayson just, not Grayson, Grayson just fucking punches that in all normal. He somehow doesn't realize what's happening. Yeah, it's a good game overall. It's funny as fuck. And it's funny because I should have put it just after BioShock because it's basically the BioShock gameplay cranked up. How it's like the gunplay, yeah, it's a thing, but it's mostly defined by everything around because it's environmental stuff. It's like the slide tackles,
Whipping
and, like,
people
combos.
into cactuses.
Yeah, but the games or the guns feel better in Bulletstorm than they do in BioShock. They're more diverse and like unique in design, especially. They feel better to use. They're very satisfying. Meanwhile, in BioShock, it's like, yeah, I have a shotgun, so I'm just gonna unload this into this Big Daddy for like a minute. Meanwhile, and yeah, in Bulletstorm, the only time that's really a thing is like, oh yeah, it's turret section. Yep.
I've been wanting to play the remake of Bulletstorm with Duke Nukem in it.
Oh yeah, huh?
You know, it's sad though because like he just says the same lines. He doesn't say Duke Nukem lines.
He just revoiced Grayson Hunt.
Yeah, so it just kind of bums me out a little bit that it's not actually Duke. It's just it's a Duke voiced Hunt.
San Francisco Shock just won a map against the Boston Uprising.
Yeah, San Francisco Shock just recently added on Sinatra, who has been the #1 ranked player before. So hopefully, he just played his first game yesterday with them. So hopefully once he gets warmed up, he'll start actually winning games for the Shock.
What's your number 7, Connor?
My number 7 is PUBG.
Poopy G.
Yeah, PUBG is fucking rad. So lately I've been playing Fortnite, but Fortnite as a shooter is not very inclined. PUBG, however, is very intricate on its gunplay. On like the one of the coolest parts to me is just how realistic the bullet fall is. So if you have a sniper rifle and you're all scoped in, it's like on a lot of games, it's like, yeah, just put their face on the crosshair and go. And this one, it's like, no, we're gonna click the little dials up here. All right, they're about that many yards away.
Gotta zero out the scope for the incline.
Like there were like one of the most satisfying moments when I was playing PUBG actually was we were chilling on top of a mountain, and these guys were like fucking little tiny dots. Like you couldn't even tell there were people on screen. And I zoom in, I'm like, oh yeah, there's people there. That's what we're looking at. And then I shoot a shot, and it like on the default thing, it goes maybe a third of the way, and I'm like, okay. And I click it, and then I shoot another one, and it like goes just over the gun. I'm like, okay, dial it back 1, and then it's just like, boom, and it just nailed him right in the fucking head with one shot, and he dropped. And it was like, fuck yeah, they couldn't even tell where we were at because like we were so far that the bullet, it's like, where the fuck they're like, you look around, you're like, I don't even see anyone because we're just specks that blend in with the mountain at this point. And then the fact that it's like even down to the pistols, it's like you can make pistols work and you can John Wick that shit up.
Yeah, they all have very distinguished and robust attributes.
Mm-hmm.
I've been like, side note, I've been really enjoying. There's been this meme going around on Facebook where the Avengers go up to Thanos and they're like, "Hey, the last Infinity Stone is in this dog."
That made me
I
sad.
hate that meme.
Why?
It's stupid.
That's the point. Memes are stupid in general.
Made me sad.
I just
Killed his
fucking dumb.
All memes are dumb.
No, they're not.
Not Harambe.
Not Velociraptor.
That's an old one.
Say that again, but slowly. Miguel.
What? Velociraptor? That's clever. That's not dumb.
Yeah, as in philosopher.
I
then
get it.
Velociraptor.
I
Isle of Dogs is a trailer for that. That looks fun. I want to see that.
But yeah, PUBG is, in my opinion, like, it's got its glitches and it's got some issues that definitely need to be worked out.
Right.
But as a shooter, it's really fucking set in. It's it's good. And they like at first they had some issues with like shotguns and whenever they've tweaked that, they've like worked out how the guns work. And it's like these are solid working guns. Like you're playing a game with guns to kill people.
Yeah.
Like
On release, these guns have been dialed in.
Yeah. It's fucking rad. So PUBG very well deserving on the list.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Agreed.
Andrew.
my number 7 is Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. The turn of the century, the only Call of Duty. Well, what I mean by that is that's when they changed, going from COD 3 to COD 4. That's when the Modern Warfare craze kicked in, and everyone really jumped on the bandwagon.
Yeah, and it's just funny because turn of the century means the ending of the 90s, the turn of the century, literally.
Oh, yeah.
Not the turn of the century.
Yeah.
That's fair.
It's just funny.
Like, this is the one Call of Duty that I consistently go back to and that I just enjoy playing the most.
It's a good game.
And when you're first playing it, the 50,000, like I don't even know the rest of it, but just in the beginning, like when you're first playing and it starts like the little intro that sticks out in my head so much.
I think it's 10,000 people used to live in this town.
No, it's a ghost town.
Yeah.
Used to live here. Now it's a ghost town. Yeah. 50,000. Oh, you were right.
Yeah, that exact, like it just, I love it, man.
the same thing where the first mission like sucks you right the fuck into.
Yeah.
All right, enough.
All right. Yeah, it's really good. It's, I really, one of my favorite things to do with friends is, 4-player split screen. We'll go on the little map where it's just like, it's the smallest map. Shipment. And shotguns only. We call it Bazinga match. And it's just really fun. The rule, so at a time, I think I was telling Miguel, at a time I enjoyed The Big Bang Theory. I don't think it's funny anymore. I used to. But the deal is Sheldon there, he would say Bazinga whenever he would say a joke or something stupid, right? And so whenever we would pop each other in the head, we have to yell Bazinga at the top of our lungs.
Boy.
fun. But it's great, man. One of my favorite things to do in that game, and it pisses my buddy Ryan off to no end, is like, hey, 1v1 me in Call of Duty. And you'll go, ugh, why? Because all I'll do is we'll go on a map, and I will just lay C4 or mines everywhere, and I will just look straight down into the map so he cannot cheat to find me, and I'm hiding. All the while he's searching for fucking ever to find me, and you hear a click, boom, dead, I get a kill. Great.
Wow.
I love it. We there's that map where you're literally on the boat. I don't remember what it's called, but it literally like 45 minutes. He could not find me.
I think that one's actually shipment. The other one was cargo. No, that one's cargo.
Okay. Yeah. Great game. Great game. All right. Go ahead, Miguel.
Fuck. I really need to like decide on an order for these already. I'm gonna go ahead and say up next is Borderlands 2. Yeah, Borderlands 2. Because while it does have like a lot of great guns, a lot of the shooting just comes down to which type of gun is this. But that's what you chose to go with?
I just wanted to play.
Die quickly. Man, example. This one guy in New Haven, right? City's burning. People are dying left and right. Yada, yada, yada. This jackal rushes me with a spoon. A freaking spoon. And I'm dying laughing, right? So I scoop out his stupid little eyeballs with it, and his kids are all, wah! And I can't even, he can't see where he's going. He's bumping into stuff, and anyway, I don't know. Maybe you had to be there. The moral is, you're a total bitch.
Yeah, definitely one of my favorite parts of that game. It's just after you, or when you're on the way to New Haven? Is that what the fuck it was called? The little cliffside community.
Yeah, it's when you're going there.
I believe it was the second one where you find that guy and he's just like, in the face. In the face.
Yeah, face McShooty.
Well, it's great. Well, the best thing about that, too, is if you're talking to the guy, I think he's in Moxie's bar. He mentioned, I can't remember exactly how he words it, but he's like, yeah, Hampton Jack, he's like, scooped my dad's eyes out with a spoon.
Yeah. You can find the son.
The son as a full-grown man.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Borderlands 2, great fun. I've like probably my second most played game of all time right now.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, fucking fun.
Like I put an honorable mention just because it just hasn't been so much in there.
Right, but yet again, it's a game where the gunplay is really enhanced by the surrounding game.
There's just so many guns, though. Like,
yeah, but they all fit into archetypes.
Yeah, albeit that it's basically here's this gun but on fire.
Yeah,
it's like
they're procedurally generated. So as soon as you know, like, okay, it's a bandit gun, and it has these stats.
Yeah,
you know that gun, and then you're gonna swap it out anyway. So you don't get attached to guns until your end game, and even then, there are very specific that you start using legendaries, and pearlescence and all that. You know, well, maybe you don't. Because you said yourself you didn't play 2.
I did beat it
all the way. Yeah, but I'm saying like you didn't do the DLCs and get like pearlescent guns and yeah.
I played it on console with you guys, and then I ended up playing the rest of it with Brenda. And then I played it on Vita, which was interesting.
Yeah, but yeah, all the guns feel great though because it's a bunch of stats that can be randomly assigned to guns, and like you have fun with them. Like you decide what gun is your favorite. There's basically all ranges of gun. You can get an assault rifle that has all of the different stats.
That has gun.
Yeah,
it's good. It's good and it's funny.
Yeah, it's very funny. It's a good game, but I'm ranking them based on shooting.
Yeah.
God, I'm thinking about I actually finally a game did occur to me that I thought I should probably add, but.
Well, maybe you'll kick something.
We'll see. I'll look at my list. Anyway, yeah, that's all I got to say about Borderlands 2. It's a great game. The gunplay is only a portion of it, though, is why it's so low on my list.
Yeah, nice. Andrew, did you play Borderlands 2?
Yeah, some. I like the first one better, but.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. I played the first one actually quite a bit. I thought it had a very grindy.
In the first one, I've probably put like 100 hours into it. Like I've beaten that with every character in the game and maxed them out.
I didn't max them out, but I definitely beat it with every
I feel like
character.
you probably put more than 100 hours in then.
Probably.
I know I at the very minimum, and it's been a while. I know I've played it and maxed out the soldier and the dude with the hawk.
Oh, but then again, I didn't Mordecai. I didn't really play one so much because that one felt tedious and slow to me.
Mm-hmm. All right, 6.
Yep.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Fuck yeah, it's pretty rad. It's pretty fucking dope. Like I was really close to putting Black Ops on it, the original, because Black Ops, I feel I like it more just because, yeah, just as a game. They had a bit more balancing going on and everything with the guns. But Modern Warfare 2 is just so fucking rad.
Right.
Like, it was dope. And it had, like, that was, like, the first time a game, like, was like, hey, fucking attachments out the ass. And, like, it made the kill streaks. Like, there were some kill streaks in Modern Warfare 1. Modern Warfare 2 was like, fuck that. Here's a shit ton of kill streaks. And here's one that makes you win the goddamn game. Like,
right.
And then, like, 1v1 me on Rust, you know, like that whole thing.
Yeah.
It's super good. Like, and then the fucking controversy behind the no Russian bit, like, that was like a whole thing. That was awesome. You know what the no Russian? You giving me a look, Andrew? Do you know what no Russian was?
That's the airport thing, right?
Yeah, and you go and you just murder a whole bunch of innocent people. It's pretty crazy.
I thought you were gonna say it's pretty great.
It's pretty great. No,
I want to make an awkward white person joke, you know, but I feel like it's a little bit too soon.
I mean, you guys are white. You can say whatever. Oh,
yeah, there was like a shooting like 2 days and yesterday, wasn't it? 2 days ago. There's been like 2 shootings in the past.
For some
week.
reason, that didn't occur to me.
Yeah. Anyways,
because you just said awkward white person joke, I assumed like, oh, it's awkward because it's white.
No, he was going with a
yeah.
Yeah. Modern Warfare 2 though, this was like a big high school game for me. Like we played the shit out of this. Like this was like get home. Don't even grab a drink. We're just playing Modern Warfare 2 now.
Dude, Jimmy's fucking absurd, or was absurd in Modern Warfare 2 with that goddamn UMP. Like every other game.
Right?
If not every game, like maybe he'd miss a game where he didn't get the fucking nuke. That dude was
I had a pretty good chunk of nukes. I can't remember how many I got, but I remember my first nuke. It was the best because I did it with the intervention and Rafikas. And then I ran out of ammo, ran down the plane, fucking knifed the guy, took his UMP 45. It had a heartbeat sensor on it, so I saw the guy coming down the fucking terminal, and then took him out. And it was like, there it is, tactical nuke. And I was like, oh my fucking god! And that was raw. That game was just so fucking hardcore. It was cool. And it's like, it makes sense. Like when people even then people were like, oh, it's Call of Duty. It's like, it's because it's good.
Right.
It's fun. Like yeah, it's been washed out now, but fucking. I mean, they're remaking Modern Warfare 2, so fuck yeah. Pretty cool. Pretty excited about that.
That's cool.
That's cool.
I didn't like it as much as Modern Warfare 1.
Interesting.
I really like Modern Warfare 1. Modern Warfare 2...
I've got a funny story about Modern Warfare 1. I've told it before on the radio about my friend.
Hey, spoiler alert, Modern Warfare 1 is on my list. So you can hold on.
I've told it about them before, so go ahead and on to y'all 6.
Andrew?
My 6 is Bulletstorm.
Oh, look at that. We talked about it.
Yeah, so go ahead, Miguel.
Oh, okay. You have no more, nothing to add.
No, like it's really fun. It's over the top. It takes everything you want a first-person shooter to be, but puts it on like steroids.
Right.
Basically, and I said earlier, like whipping people to you and kicking them into foreign objects is just fun.
Yeah.
I really like the arcadey aspect that they give you points on everything. Like, so in your head, the more absurd things you do, you get more points. It's great. And it's like the perfect B movie for a game.
Wait, B movie?
You know, I just
B movie, as in like a Ed Wood style film.
This
like jazz?
This is going back to Modern Warfare 2 real quick, just because we mentioned earlier. Hans Zimmer actually did the fucking soundtrack to Modern Warfare 2. That's more,
yeah. That doesn't surprise me actually.
So that's just like, oh shit, yeah. That makes it even fucking cooler as a game. All right, Miguel.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and call my number 6 Gears of War 2.
That's a good game.
God damn, I love Gears of War 2. Specifically that one. So like, there was a lot of like technique and all to Gears of War 1, but a lot of it was like on like the glitch, like the kung fu flip and shit like that.
Yeah.
Gears of War 2 is just like how well do you know this gun, and how well can you place yourself with your opponents?
God, like the thing that's so crazy about it though is the sniper.
The bolt shot or the other one?
The bolt shot, the main one.
Okay. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
the one you can have, the one you can start off with.
Yeah, the craziest thing about that is that even in cover, blind firing, it still shoots in the center of the screen.
Oh wait, the heavier one was in 3, not 2.
Yeah, but even so, it's like it always shot in the center, so you could be hiding behind a corner.
Yep.
And be like, hey, there's a guy, dead, and it's like you don't even peek, you just blind fire around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking insane.
I love me a torque bow.
Torque bows are
Yeah.
amazing. That game is great. It's not on my list just because there's a lot of stuff put on these lists. But fucking Gears of War 2 gave me the feels.
Dude, oh yeah, that's true. It was very emotional as a story. But
Yeah.
again, I'm just addressing the games as their their quality
As
of
a
shooting.
robot.
Yes, as by their quality of shooting. And it's like Gears of War was like, okay, whatever gun you're best at is the one you use. Like there was not a gun that was unused in multiplayer. Everything was viable. People used the starter pistol. People used the burst pistol. People used the other rifle, the semi-auto
I
rifle.
always use the Magnum.
Yeah, some people used the revolver. They were all viable. It all depended on like your preference and how good you were with that gun. Some people used the not the bolt shot, but the fuck.
There's a little Cantus one, the one that's like rapid.
Yeah, no, not the. I'm not talking about the pistols anymore,
Oh,
but
okay.
the rifle, the hammer shot, hammer
Yeah.
burst.
Hammer
So I
burst,
never
yeah.
saw very many
I was a
people
hammer
using the hammer
burster.
burst. Okay, there you go.
People-
I didn't see people using it very often when I played online.
Me and my buddies, we were all hammer bursters.
It all depended on
my
on
buddy,
how you were.
myself, Vinny, and Garrett in high school. We always played
Always-
the fucking hammer burst.
I guess I'm a basic bitch because I've always been a
Sometimes-
Lancer guy.
Sometimes I would swap them out. Like if I killed someone with a hammer burst, I might take it just because like it was a certain like scenario. Like maybe it's cross map shit. I need better damage across the range instead of sustained fire.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take this guy's hammer burst and work with that for the rest of this.
Yeah,
match.
I usually worked with the hammer burst because it's kind of like a DMR in
Uh-huh.
that sense. But fucking Gears of War 3, I was all about that retro Lancer. It was too fucking cool.
Man, that shit was broken when it started.
It
when it
was.
launched. Oh my god, the bayonet charge.
Yeah,
Like
that shit was so.
you were a magnet. It's like Reinhardt's charge on crack.
I was playing like when Gears of War 3 came out. I was in at UC Davis in the dorms, and my buddy there, he's all talking like he was playing it. It's the first time he'd sat down and played, and then he's like, "What gun is this?" And I was like, "That's the Retro Lancer." And he just goes, "Oh, Retro Lancer."
Nice.
It was the best, man.
Yeah, the gunplay was very robust. I loved it. It was very flexible. It was all about who you were. Go ahead, Connor. Number 5?
Number 5 is Team Fortress 2.
Oh, we gotta start hammering these out. We only got 30 minutes roughly.
Yeah, Team Fortress 2. Fucking, I really like the game. I haven't played it much recently. It's so fun, and like the characters are so nice, and the fucking guns are actually really badass in it. There's like so many differences between them. It's like the Scout has, over 5 shotguns, and each one of them performs differently and has mechanics that you are supposed to realize. And the characters are so varied that it's like you can be a good Scout and then be terrible at literally every other class. And it's like, it wasn't the first class shooter. I mean, there was Team Fortress before that, and then there's a couple other class shooters. I can't really put a number on them right now, but it's, it definitely like popularized at that time period of just like class shooters. And it has a special place in my heart, even though I don't play it much in the present day. It's very fun. Fond memories of it. I especially love the Huntsman on the sniper. It's something so satisfying about how it works. Like when you shoot someone with the Huntsman, it'll make their body fly across the room and then pin to the wall, and they're just hanging there for a good while.
I feel you. I can respect it.
Yeah. So I know you guys don't really play it, so we can't.
No,
really talk a
I've
whole
never
bunch
been
about it.
I've never been a big fan.
Yeah. As a shooter, it's good. It's pretty good.
Yeah. All right. My number 5 is BioShock.
Okay.
It's good.
Yeah, it is. Very good game.
It's fun.
In terms of shooters, I don't think and it's weird because there's 4 that are higher than this, and I don't think I've ever been into a world as much as like I've dug it. I really liked going. I don't remember what it's even called at this point.
Rapture?
Rapture. Thank you. Going to Rapture for the first time.
That is an experience.
Goodness, like I really feel like BioShock for a somewhat linear game. I don't think it's like super linear, but it's not an open world game either. I'm gonna say for a somewhat linear game, it did world building better than any other that I've ever played. Because like too often when you're playing most games that are as like that, they don't even go that much. But I really felt like I was in a living world.
Yeah.
Man, it's too bad you're not into Dark Souls.
I just Dark Souls just isn't very good to me. But I can objectively see it's good. I just don't like it. And man,
I'm saying it's just too bad because like
Yeah.
as far as world building and lore goes, there's no game deeper than Dark Souls. Like I can say that. You can bring up arguments like maybe Mass Effect has a deep lore.
Mass Effect has a really deep lore.
Huge.
Yeah.
There's
The
so much
whole-
that you can read.
The whole
up on.
Elder Scrolls series does, but as a singular game, Dark Souls, because it's basically independent from the rest of the series, they're all essentially based on the same universe, but Dark Souls as one game has the deepest lore, for sure,
Interesting. I'll be the judge of that later.
eventually.
All right. What's your 5, Miko?
Ah, fuck, I forgot I have a pimple growing on my cheek and I just scratched that shit. My 5 is Destiny.
Oh.
It was that's the one that I was like, oh shit, I just remembered something. Because my 5 was like, I guess Battlefield 4. Because that's the only one I really played significantly. And it's like, yeah, it had really good gunplay. So it was probably going to be number 1 based on gunplay. But Destiny is just like, I've basically talked about all these games where it's like the gameplay around the gunplay is what enhances it.
Yeah.
Destiny has a very good balance between those, where it's like the gun you are using, you have to be familiar with, you have to like it.
Yeah,
and it's
definitely.
very important to your gameplay. Your gun will actually determine how you play around it, and it's fucking great for that. It's like as far as gunplay goes, it's probably the most fun.
It has definitely a very user experience input to it, because I feel like 2 people can play Destiny throughout the entire thing, touch every gun, and have a completely different play style.
Exactly. Yeah,
So
that's very true.
Because like I myself, I like using the magnums heavily, but then at the same time, it's like give me an auto rifle for the suppression fire, and then I like, I'll put rounds downfield with the rifle, and then just pick it off with the revolver, and then it's like you could just dump on an enemy, and then like there's completely different other ways. Like you could just be a rocket launcher guy, straight up, like that's your fucking kill move. But yeah, it's fucking rad.
I own the original Destiny. I haven't played it. Bought it for like $3 or $4.
Yeah, it's kind of dead now. There was a time when Destiny 2 came out where it got revived because people were upset with Destiny 2, so they were playing Destiny 1 again. You probably aren't going to have as much luck with people, with a community in Destiny 1 anymore.
You have some homies though, you can still run it.
Yeah, that's true. I
it's-
think I still have it installed.
Yeah, it's
On console?
4-man runs, basically.
Gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Yeah, you gotta do it.
You mean 3.
All right. What
Destiny's weird on that.
That's true. All right,
Go ahead, Connor. Number 4.
my number 4 has been mentioned.
Oh, yeah?
It's Overwatch.
Nice.
Overwatch is rad. I really like it, and I think it's definitely kind of revolutionized esports in a way that is bringing it from the strategy-based games, which is primarily what esports seem to have always been. Like when we've always had StarCraft over the years, and then League of Legends and whatnot.
Dota.
Dota. And it's like, even though we had stuff like Quake back in the day and Unreal Tournament, it's, they weren't ever to the degree of being really in the limelight. It was like there were tournaments, but they weren't like huge spectacles.
Yeah.
Whereas now Overwatch, I mean, shit, there's the fucking Overwatch League.
Hey,
Which we're currently watching.
I will be the judge of the esports because I recently applied for a job at Blizzard, And unlike the last time I applied for a job at Blizzard, I didn't get insta rejected because of lack of experience.
Look at that.
I actually got a response saying, "Yeah, we'll take a look at your shit."
They look at your Blizzard profile.
They look at you like,
You've only got.
I don't know if this guy can. I specifically applied to be on the esports team for Hearthstone.
Oh, that's cool.
And they look at my profile and they're like, he's never been legend. Ben Bro just sits there laughing, saying, "This guy will never make it."
It's funny.
That'd be funny.
I'm gonna save some time here. My number 4 is Overwatch.
Okay, so you're number 4 as well as Overwatch?
Yeah.
Because that's what we're on 4.
Oh, that's right. I have the same number 4
there
as
we go.
Connor.
Yep. So both 4.
Same round.
Yeah. Overwatch it's so good.
It's good. It's like, yeah, and you can tell by watching like high level competitive play. There's a huge variance based on how you play around the guns.
Yeah, and it's like, and
there's so many types of guns.
And it's one of those few shooters you can bring people who aren't into shooters and be like, "Hey, play with me." And then they're like, "I don't know how to play shooters." And you're like, "Just play Winston, bro." And then it's like, and then they're like, "That's really hard."
They're like, that didn't help at all.
Yeah, because Winston's actually incredibly difficult to get the right mind around.
Yeah, if you're just jumping into Overwatch and you try to play Winston, you're gonna get fucked upon.
Yeah,
I have never had a positive Winston game or experience playing Winston.
He's all about knowing the game.
You really, yeah. Like I didn't start being able to play Winston until like fucking 80 hours.
Like
in.
I don't know if I like the other night when I was playing with Miguel, I played one game of Winston, and the only thing I would like to say I did well is I consistently jumped in and killed their Mercy and Moira, and then died.
That a kid.
Like I wasn't able to jump out, but I was constantly able to get into their back line and kill their
It's like half your
squishes.
purpose.
Yeah, that is the very basic goal for Winston.
Perfect.
Kill the supports.
Yeah.
If you can
Perfect.
do that, at least you're doing something.
I remember
All
the
right.
first time I played Winston, like hopped in the seat and I was like, "Oh, fuck this."
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I like in the first opening week of Overwatch, like I was like, all right, I'm gonna try everyone. I'm just gonna be versatile.
Yeah.
And I like, ironically, Zarya and Winston were like the two characters where I was like, no, I can't do it.
And now
Now,
Zarya's your.
now I have over 120 hours in Zarya. She is my fucking bread and butter.
She's your bae.
So
Sure.
my number 4 is Mass Effect 2.
Okay.
There you go.
Great game. I think, it kind of depends on the shepherd you build.
Yeah.
I feel like, it depends on how much gunplay you use, but I always play, I think it's called an enforcer, where I would just use shotguns and like jump, like dash at people.
Yeah.
And I really like that because being able to, I don't know, it was just really fun.
It's a very versatile game.
Yeah, I fucking love Mass Effect.
You can play it however you want.
I completely understand you guys not putting it on it because I know it's not the most technical shooter.
I haven't played it myself.
I just that's like I tried to keep my list more on the technical side.
Right.
Yeah, but
and it's like, but legitimately, Mass Effect.
I think it's got the mechanics behind it. I've watched people play it very like much so.
I mean it's really because it's one that I really want to play again.
It's Mass Effect 2 is my favorite.
Mass Effect
out of the 3.
Mass Effect the
4.
series though is like it's really pushing there to be my number 5 on top 5 games because like I haven't solidified that. Like I always talk about it, and I'm like I was like looking over Mass Effect the other day, like just gameplay and stuff again. I was like, God, I feel like if I play this game again, it's just gonna be like love all over again, literally, because there's love in that game.
Yeah,
Hardcore love.
Not even to get to that, but the story is really good. Number 2 in particular has my favorite characters in the series. I really like Jack.
Yeah, Jack's fucking awesome.
I was like, who the fuck is in 2?
She looks
but not
so
in the
much
others?
cooler though in 3.
I like her in 3 or 2.
You
I
like her in 2 more.
Yeah, it like 2
I
has.
think her character design just looks so rad in 3.
I don't disagree, but in 2, I feel like it's really honest to her character. Like she's not hiding anything. Well, she's hiding a lot, but you know what I mean. Like her character design isn't. But in any case,
Like her dick. What?
yeah, exactly. She's anyway. Game's really good. I'll move on. What's your number 3, Connor? Just for time's
Oh
sake.
yeah, that's right. Because
Yeah.
Miguel was we hooked it up.
We're in sync on that one.
Number 3 is Quake 3/Live because it's kind of they used the same shit and made it online play like revamped. I wanted to like I really like the new Quake a lot, but I haven't been able to play a lot because it's fucking errors that it has with the online. But like we've thrown down on Quake just chilling throughout school days and shit, Andrew. And Quake is just rad. I fucking love Quake.
It's fine.
As far as like de facto arena shooters go, it's the fucking granddaddy on solid arena shooter play.
Sure.
And the guns have huge variances. However, the biggest thing about it though, that I always thought was a little weird, but it has to do with its age, is that every body part is the same amount of damage.
Oh, yep.
But goddamn, if you can do flick rails and all that shit, it's so cool and satisfying when you just like demolish people on Quake and you get an actual pattern going. Quake's cool.
Yeah. All right. I guess my number 3 now.
What time is it?
Yeah, like 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. So I didn't want to relish in it because I know that Andrew's
right
guy going. Yeah.
Oh, my number 3 is the Order 1886.
Okay.
Interesting.
Probably, I always say I've been saying for a long time, it's been my favorite PS4 game that's been released
so far.
And I will probably say now it's my second favorite PS4 game that's been released. But as just a pure shooter,
What knocked it down?
my number 2 on my list.
Okay.
Oh.
As a pure shooter though, because number 2 is not a pure shooter by any means, but
Right.
I feel like the Order 1886 is the highest game on my list where I can say no, like shooting is the main point of the game. And it's really good. Like all of the guns in the game, while they're not super varied or like something you wouldn't expect other than maybe like the Tesla cannon
Right.
or different things along those lines, it's just really good. Yeah. It's super precise. The story is amazing. I still to this day think it's the best looking game on the console, which is amazing considering. Miguel doesn't agree with me.
I'm thinking about it because there have been some really beautiful games put out since.
Right. Have you gone back and played or looked at it though?
No,
like,
but
it's
I remember it being great. It's pretty fucking close to photorealistic.
Yeah.
For what we've got so far.
I think the coolest thing about it was that it has the native support for ultra wide.
Yeah, because of the aspect ratio they made it in.
It's fucking cool.
Yeah. I completely, like, people were like, oh, they're just skipping out so they can fucking make the game run. It's like, why wouldn't you want that, though?
Yeah. I haven't played it. I really need to. It was one that I wanted to play. And
I've got it. I'll fucking... you don't have a PS4 anymore. Fuck.
It's amazing. Yeah. You can just come over and play it. Like, we can get it done in one afternoon.
Yeah, actually.
Like, we could just record a Let's Play of it and be done in one sitting.
There you go.
That's the one thing people don't like about it, is that it's short. And unfortunately, they'll probably never make a sequel.
I personally like that when games are, like, not every game.
It's about value, though.
Well, I mean, like, for me, it's like, when I think about games, like, when you go and play them, it's good to have your long games. But if every game was long, I don't think you'd be able to play them all.
But it's, like, crazy short.
It's like 4 or 5 hours.
4 hours if you're good. 6 hours if not.
Yeah,
Took
but
me 5.
Fucking Metal Gear Solid
middle of the road.
Metal Gear Solid 4 was that way.
Yeah, if you skip the cutscenes.
Well, no, like even with cutscenes, it's only like 6.5 hours, and then like over half of that is cutscenes.
But in any case, The Order is a game that'll never be a sequel to, most likely, and
because of bad reception.
Because of bad reception, and I don't understand. The game is. Like, I want to, the first, like, I don't know if that's actually how I feel, but the first word that came to mind is masterpiece. And if that's the first thing that came to my mind, I'm not going to disagree with myself.
Okay.
Because it's fantastic.
I would argue against it being a masterpiece. I think it's pretty good. It's kind of like, you remember being a kid and watching Van Helsing?
Never seen it.
That was fucking cool
with,
as a kid.
With Hugh Jackman?
Yeah. That's how The Order is.
Yeah.
It's fucking cool. It's like the adult level of enjoyment. Like, you're like, oh, this is all fucking badass.
It's like
and it looks great.
Yep.
Yeah,
right.
There you go.
What's your number 3?
My number 3 is Halo Reach. Which I consider that the peak of the Halo series. And the guns were like, they added the DMR in that one, so there was even more variance. And it's another, like, that's what you'll find as a pattern in my upper 5, is that it's games that are focused on how your play style. I mean, even Borderlands had that, and that was my number 6, right? So it's like, as you get higher on the list, it's more about like how much the guns matter to the person and how well that reflects on like your gameplay. So like Destiny was the same way. Like depending on the loadout you pick, you play a certain kind of way. And fucking Halo Reach was just like yeah, with the armor abilities and everything, it all is just focused towards how you're gonna use your gun.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you like the sprint, if you like the jetpack, like I would do a jetpack with an assault rifle, because I would just use it to go under people or whatever, fly up to them and fuck with their radar and get close with the assault rifle. That was my playstyle. Some people used sprint and a DMR so they could be far away from you at all times and DMR you down. There was no BR in that one actually.
Yeah, there was the
That was the DMR. I got replaced
Yeah.
with the DMR in Reach.
Yeah, they used
which
the
I
DMR.
liked because the BR was all about shenanigans and gimmicks. Like, oh, you have to use the fucking, what's it called, combo?
well, the BXR that was only in Halo 2.
BXR. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I like
Yeah.
getting rid of that. And then in Halo 3, the BR was the most viable gun. You didn't really have a choice.
Yeah, you just used.
If you
Used
weren't
it.
using the BR, you were getting fucked on.
Yeah, exactly.
In Halo 3.
To save face here, Halo Reach is my number 2.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, my 3, your 2. So
Um,
it's the next one in the list anyway.
Yeah, it's up. It's like right there, and
Come
fucking.
on, guys.
I totally
Obviously, the best Halo is Colonial Marine. Or no, I'm sorry. What the fuck
Wars?
is it called? No, never mind.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Spartan
agree.
Assault.
ODST.
ODST. Thank you.
Oh, ODST.
That's not a bad game.
It's not.
Oh,
It's pretty good.
Not at all. Yeah, it's not bad at all. Halo Reach though. Oh my god. Like we like everything Miguel was talking about, and then the fucking it's not called Horde mode. What's it called again?
Oh, yeah, they kept it from ODST.
From ODST. They threw it in there. Like that game type though was fucking incredible.
survival mode.
Yeah,
what the
Nathaniel
fuck?
and I used to play the fuck out of that. Like it was like if like we would play
I preferred
online.
it in ODST, but it was still good in Reach.
Yeah, we played it. We played a lot of online. Obviously, like who the fuck didn't play online mode
Right.
if you were playing that game? But there was so many times where it was like, yeah, we're just gonna chill at home. And we're gonna fucking rock through this thing on Mythic mode. Like let's kill some fucking Covenant.
Yeah, that's one of the few games I played through the story like more than twice.
Yeah, and it's and you had such customization over your Spartan too.
Oh, that too.
Like, that was
like that has nothing to do with the shooting aspect, but
Exactly.
that's what makes it the best Halo game.
like it's just a solidly awesome game. It's just fucking
Yeah.
like all the customization, and then
it is the peak of Halo, like
yeah,
without a doubt.
I definitely think so
unarguably.
too. It's like they could just remake Halo Reach and be like, hey guys,
Yeah, I would keep playing
fucking Reach.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Andrew? You don't play the Xbox games, did you?
I'm not a big fan of Halo in
Right.
general. So I when it first came out, I was very anti Halo because it was so popular.
Oh, you just hated it to be a hater.
Yeah, pretty much. That's also the reason why I didn't like Call of Duty when it first came out. I've opened up to both, but even now being more middle ground, I still play Halo, and I'm just like, this isn't anything special to me. Like I've played an 8-person like local where you link the Xbox like a LAN party
Yeah.
on Halo 2, and I'm just like, this is nothing. Like I was not having a good time when we were at your party and everyone was taking turns playing Halo. I'm like,
That everyone was having a
everyone's
blasty
having
blast.
and I'm sitting there like, can we go back to playing Street Fighter, please? All right.
And then we played Mortal Kombat or something, and everyone and only
And-
who Nate was having a good time.
that was when we were playing Injustice,
Oh, Injustice.
and
there you
Nate
go.
fucking was just wiping the floor with everyone.
And I had to take
Yeah,
off
it-
at some point, so I didn't get to see all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Halo is just one of those games that like I just don't like it. I like the book. I
You're a
read the
weirdo.
book.
Which one?
Don't remember.
There's
8 of
like
them.
fucking a dozen.
I
At
think
least.
it was called The Flood.
We got like
Okay, that's the
5
one
and a
based
half
on Halo 1.
minutes.
Oh wow. Okay, so
Yeah,
you're number
no,
2.
It says on mine. It says over here we got 11 minutes, bro.
No, I mean, if we ended we're supposed to end at the 55, but I guess since there's no show after us, we can keep
Yeah.
it going.
No show after us. So, all right. So my number 2 is I think the most controversial game on the list because it's Resident Evil 7.
Okay.
Oh, Resident Evil 5 almost made my list.
Yeah. Well, Resident Evil 5 is a lot more of a shooter than Resi 7 is.
Yeah, that's the funny thing is when I was about to put it on there, but some of the other stuff I've already mentioned, like these are all big deal games that I've mentioned. Resident Evil 5, it's like a lot of people fucking hate on it, but they all acknowledge that it was an action game shooter, good thing. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't a horror game was the problem.
Right. It's not a Resident Evil game so well.
Yeah.
7 takes it back to its horror roots, but obviously when it's not like you're defenseless, as in you're playing like Alan Wake or something.
Yeah.
Right.
You get guns
That's a fun game.
and you get knives and there's upgrades for the guns and all these other things. and it just feels really good. You know, shooting the basic pistol or just getting a knife, like it feels legit.
It's empowering.
Yeah, exactly. I can only imagine playing that game in VR would up this.
Ultra moist.
Yeah, exactly.
Ultra moist 4K.
It's a game I really want to do a let's play with you guys. I mean,
I would like to play it. I haven't played it.
It's really good. Best, like I said, my favorite Resi game before this was 4 and then Resident Evil Revelations. And I feel like after playing Revelations, Resident Evil 7 just took everything I liked about both of those things and put it into one game.
I need to play 7 because
I think I've only played 4.
Resident Evil 6 really
garbage.
Really fucked me on the Resident Evil love.
I actually much prefer it over 5 as a
Jeez.
game and a Resident Evil game.
God, the QuickTime events killed that shit for me.
That never seems to bother me. Like, do you not like did you like Heavy Rain? Do you like David Cage games, Quantic Dream?
No, I didn't. I like
Heavy Rain.
Never went through it.
Oh, okay.
And I hate the Telltale games, so that tells me
right. So yeah. If QuickTime
Giovanni, like I got Resident Evil 6 day one, was like, yeah, fucking let's do this. And then Giovanni and I sat down, played it, and then it was like we stopped after we stopped at the Ada Wong part because we were just playing through Leon's campaign.
Right.
And then when we got to the Ada Wong part, we were like, what the fuck? And then just stopped.
Damn.
Yeah, it's not.
We're like, this is stupid. And then we just stopped, and then I returned it.
Too bad you didn't do the Chris part. The Chris part is very shooty.
Yeah, I've heard that, and it's like, yeah, go fucking back and play the Chris part.
Resident Evil fans, like the people that really like just Resident Evil, they always say that Leon has the best campaign, and Chris's is the worst.
Well, that's
Leon's is the most horror.
That's the funny thing is Giovanni likes old Resident Evil more than 5 and stuff, and so you think that he would have liked it, but he hated it. He hated
it's more arcade. And it's QuickTime. That's true.
What's great about this is that Resi 7, I feel like, combines both worlds perfectly.
I think it's the weird transition back.
We do have to end in time, so.
Oh, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is PUBG.
Okay.
We already talked about it. It's got really good gunplay.
Connor.
My number 1. We opened with the theme song, and
I don't remember.
Fucking Doom, man.
Oh, right. Of course.
Original fucking old school. I mean, I love 2016, but I just got to throw Doom 1 in there because I have countless numbers of hours in Doom 1. And
only because of the times.
Because of the time. Yeah, I've played it my whole life. It's like, I think I probably played Doom before I could form full sentences.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It didn't require it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like just... There we go. My uncle, he was a computer builder. He owned a computer store and everything back then. So he had all these sweet computers back in the day. And it was like anytime we went to his house, it was like, let's play Doom. And then that shit came out and we had it on our computer. And I was just always playing Doom. Made maps, played all that stuff. I was that little kid that was just shooting people on parties and shit.
Yeah.
Anybody who knew you knew this. So
yeah,
Except Brenda.
Yeah, for some reason Brenda.
Except your girlfriend.
Yeah, right. She didn't realize. She was like, I don't know. And it was like Doom, and she's like, I don't think Doom's a shooter. And it's like, what the fuck is it then? It's like the second shooter.
Yeah, she wanted to call it an RPG. Yeah. Anyway, Andrew, you're number 1.
Yeah. Last of Us.
All right, yeah, cool. It makes sense. It's just a good game for you.
And we did talk about Last of Us.
It's a perfect game almost.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's why it's your number 1. It's a great game.
It's a solidly fantastic.
Exactly.
Game.
In terms of just gunplay, the top game is probably the Order 1886 for me. But The Last of Us takes everything. Great gunplay, fantastic story, everything. But in any case,
what's the time?
We got less than a minute.
30 seconds.
Okay,
so all right.
My number 1, Call of Duty 4, because it was all about the guns. It's before everything got introduced that took away from the gunplay.
It is amazing.
It was still fun. You had fun just shooting the guns in that game.
Agreed.
I told the story before, but the quick thing is that I got Call of Duty 4 and I was loving it. And within a month, my friend wanted to borrow it. I let him borrow it. And then he moved, and I didn't get it. And I didn't get it back for another year and a half. So
until Call of Duty 2 or Modern Warfare 2.
Modern Warfare 2 was already out, so I didn't even get to play Modern Warfare 1, and it was really sad.
That is sad.
And on that note, thank you for so much for listening to the Kind of Gaming Show on GetUpGreedo.com. Thank you for listening to Andrew, Connor, and Miguel, and thank you, and stay chaotic. Bye.
You didn't even say that fast. You could have just said it clearly.
Stay chaotic.